gentlemen, Nick here, and welcome to my review of Doctor Who Series 1, Episode 3, The Unquiet Dead. This is the first episode of the series not to be written by showrunner and executive producer and head writer Russell T Davies, who brought the show back. This episode is written by Mark Gatiss, who, of course, would go on to write loads more episodes of the series, mostly in the Stephen Moffat era. He was also starring a couple of episodes. Okay, so Unquiet Dead. Now, we've seen the future with the end of the world, and we've had the present day's story with Rose. It's about time that Doctor Who went back in time into the past. So you've got the time travel element a bit down a bit more, and we get to have a historical horror story in this one's case. Now, before we start, I'd like to say I think most series of Doctor Who, we usually have the first 3 episodes have a story in the present, a story in the past, a story in the future, not necessarily in that order. But we'll usually have one of each in the first 3 episodes, especially if you're introducing a new Doctor and/or companion. I think the only series series 6, 7, 8, and 9 don't follow that rule. As 6 has 3 episodes in the past, first 3 episodes in the past. 7 has 2 in the future and 1 in the past. 8 has 2 in the past, 1 in the future, and 9 has 3 in the future. Partly set in one of them's partly in the present, but mostly in the future. The rest, series 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 10, and 11 have episodes that are at least 1 episode in the past, 1 episode in the present, and 1 episode in the future, but not necessarily in that order. For example, this series is present, future, and then past. Series 2 would be future, past, present. Series 3 would be present, past, future. Same for Series 4 in that one's case. 5, it's present, future, past. 10, it's the same, and 11, also the same. Okay, we'll see what Series 12 brings. So what's the plot of The Unquiet Dead? Well, in 1869, Cardiff, these creatures known as the Gelf, which like gas, and I mean gas, not the gas that you come out your bottom, I mean gas that you used in Victorian times to light up lanterns. They like that gas. You know, it's the gas that you use with cooking, I suppose, and heating. Okay, so these creatures they've arrived in Cardiff 1869, specifically around this undertaker's house, and they've now started possessing bodies to go around with, as they've lost their supplies during the Time War, as they mention later on. One of them take a girl, so some of them anyway, use this one body of a deceased woman. They kill her grandson by just choking him. I suppose this is how this story gets the 12 certification. By the way, this is the first story of the new series to get a 12 certification. It's not the first Doctor Who story to get that honour. That would go to the 1996 TV movie. And personally, I would have given Dark's Marzipan Part 12 and The Massacre Part 4 12 ratings, but those episodes aren't in the archives. I'm just going by what I saw in the reconstructions. But the movie is certainly the first one to get the 12 rating for an episode. But this is the first one in the new series. And I think it's due to the strangulation of this one character here, and also the snapping of the neck of another character later on, so that he could die and join the Gelf. So anyway, the Gelf go out and watch Mr. Charles Dickens. So the Gelf old woman goes off to watch Charles Dickens perform a reading of A Christmas Carol, whilst the Doctor and Rose arrive in Cardiff. They think they are in Naples 1860, but they turn out to be in Cardiff 1869. Much to Rose's displeasure. I wonder why not. Does she not like Cardiff? Cardiff's a lovely place. Even in 1869, probably. Anyway, so they head over to Charles Dickens' reading when they hear trouble. Meanwhile, the Undertaker, Mr. Sneed, and his maid, his maid, Gwyneth, they are looking for the body. And Gwyneth has this sort of psychic sight that helps them find her, despite her not really liking the idea of using her sight to find the old woman. eventually they get the old woman back in, take her back to their house, and they also bring Rose along when she starts following them. The Doctor then chases them. The Doctor then chases after them with Charles Dickens, and they get to have a bit of a nice conversation. And there's some really funny and enjoyable lines between the two. Some very good banter. Once getting to the house, the Doctor saves Rose from being killed by the Gelf, and they discuss with the Undertaker and Gwyneth, the Undertaker and Mr. Sneed. I may as well just call him Mr. Sneed, about what's going on. And the Doctor has Charles Dickens have talk, because Charles Dickens doesn't believe this is happening, but the Doctor has to talk him around a bit in a way. And then Rose talks with Gwyneth, and there's some really nice scenes here. This is probably Rose at her nicest character-wise at this point in the series. She gets some very nice bits, and she and Gwyneth have a nice conversation scene. We get to learn a bit more about Gwyneth as a character. Also learn, I think Rose's dad has passed away. I think they do mention that. So that's going to be something that's going to come up again later on in the series, as well as the Bad Wolf and Rift references. And the Doctor also pops in to discover this. So they hold a seance to talk to the Gelf, who reveal that their body stocks have been destroyed in the Time War, much to the Doctor's sadness. And I think Rose gives him a look because of the end of the last episode. I think she may know what they're talking about, as well as to see if this is indeed what the Doctor was talking about last time. So the Doctor decides to help the Gelf, despite Rose not being into the idea of Gelf recycling the dead bodies. But they go along with the plan in a way, and when Gwyneth tries to communicate with the Gelf, once they start coming through, it's revealed that despite them asking for pity and help earlier on, they turn out to actually be evil. Or at least have malevolent plans and they kill Sneed so they could take his body, and they try to take the bodies of the humans so that they could take over the world. However, Charles Dickens works out a way to stop them, so he and the Doctor they use the gas to kind of stop them getting into the bodies. It's not made clear, but it works effectively, and Gwyneth blows the house up because she can't send them back, but she can hold them, and sadly, she does seem to have been killed once stepping under the arch to let them through, but there was enough in her to help to let the Doctor, Rose and Charles Dickens out before lighting a match and holding them. So still some humanity left in there. Charles Dickens is reinvigorated with energy and passion and knowledge and ideas about the supernatural and the more unworldly things out there. But sadly, as it's 1869, it's about 6 months to his death. To his death in June 1870, I believe it was. But thankfully, he probably had a good last couple of 6 months whilst writing The Mystery of Edrin Drood, which was left unfinished. So he never got to tell his story about blue ghosts or something. But he still gets. But at least the Doctor and Rose have reinvigorated his energy and made him a lot happier now. So, The Unquiet Dead, very well done story, very well written, really great stuff. Some really great effects as well. It does take a little bit of time to get the story going, and it could be a bit slow for some viewers. Although if you're classic series fans, you might be okay with it. Certainly it actually feels pretty well paced and handled really well. The story is really great. The effects are very good as well. Characters are pretty great and really well performed. There isn't a huge amount of problems I have with it, although I think the reveal at the end is pretty good, although how there is about the Gelf being evil / ulterior motives. But I am not sure how were they stopped again. I think it's something to do with the gas. It can be a bit explained a bit more. And I think the final scene with Charles Dickens does go on a little bit too long. I think they didn't have to talk as long as they needed to. But some very good scenes in here and a very strong story. And a great first episode for Mark Gatiss, and a great first episode with a writer that's not Russell T Davies. and a great historical slash or pseudo historical and horror story. Really well done. So I'll be giving The Unquiet Dead a 9 out of 10. Yeah, I don't think it's 100% perfect, but I think it's very close. I think it's very, very close. I think a few more tweaks, and maybe some more personality with Gwyneth. I mean, we've got lots of information about her, but maybe a little bit more personality. I think she had a good personality, but a little bit more about it. But definitely a very good story and some really great stuff happening. So, yeah, that's The Unquiet Dead. A great story. So, of the first 3 episodes of the series, which are the 3 episodes on Doctor Who Series 1, Volume 1, or pretty much just Doctor Who Volume 1, actually. Series 1, it's just Doctor Who Volume 1, 2, 3, 4, instead of Series 1, Volume 1, 2, 3, 4, for some reason. But for Doctor Who Series 1, sorry, for Doctor Who Volume 1, or Series 1, Volume 1, these are the 3 episodes on that DVD, and the 3 episodes on Disc 1 of Doctor Who, the complete first series. So, yeah, out of these first 3 episodes, this is currently the best one, but there are better. But there will be stronger episodes coming, I can assure you. The next 2 episodes are Aliens of London, World War 3, and I'll be reviewing 2-parters in the same review, which means I'll either have to re-edit or re-review World Knocking Time and Doctor Falls in one review. But yeah, next time we'll be taking a look at Aliens of London and World War 3, the first 2-parter of the new series, and then we'll be moving on to further episodes after that. That's it. So next time will be Aliens of London and World War 3 in the same review. That's it from me. I'll see you guys next time. Goodbye. Don't forget to click below to subscribe to the official Nicholas Payne Retro YouTube channel. Okay, so how does Unquiet Dead hold? Okay, so what's the plot about The Unquiet Dead? Well, in 1980, it's the gas that powers your home. Well, gas, it's the gas that you have in your house. Like when you have your oven on. No, hold on. So I'll be giving The Unquiet Dead an 9 out. Currently the best of the first 3 episodes. So on Series 1, Volume 1 DVD, or just Doctor Who Volume 1 at that time. So on the Doctor Who Volume 1 DVD, or Series 1 Volume 1, if you want to be more precise. I mean, so on the Series 1 Volume 1, or rather Volume 1... so of the first 3 episodes of the series, which are the 3 episodes...